Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today I want to talk to you guys about preferred water temperature and fish. Fish, meaning wahoo, tuna, dolphin, sailfish. I might throw in a couple other ones, but here's the deal. It's really about the bait fish, okay? And what temperature the bait fish actually are comfortable in. So this summer, outside the reef, the temperatures right now on the surface, they're hovering anywhere from 86 degrees in the morning out up to 87 degrees with solar heating. But below the surface, it's actually pretty nice right now. I just talked to a few divers at Tavernier Creek Marina. The temperatures 30 to 40 feet below the surface in like 120 to 100 foot of water. The temperatures are hovering around 85, 86 degrees, which is pretty nice. So the divers are saying it's nice and comfortable below the surface, which is awesome. So while some people emphasize the preferred water temperature idea, it's not as crucial as it's made out to be, okay? Fish like wahoo, tuna, dolphin, and other fish, the most important thing, I feel, what keeps them around is bait. Now, is it the bait that they actually like to eat? So keep that in mind. Fish like wahoos, they like to eat baby bonitos, they like to eat sardines, they like to eat speedos, they like to eat goggle eyes, cigar minnows, baby blackfin tunas. They love those things. Oh my god, I can't tell you how many nice blackfins I lost to wahoos last year. So it's really about the temperature that the bait prefers. Wahoos, tunas, kingfish, dolphin, all those fish can move up and down in the water column, guys. They'll come up to eat, and then they'll head right back down in that comfy water again, and then they'll sit there and they'll wait. And then once they're done feeding, then they're going to just swim with the bait until they're ready to eat again. That's how it works. So the trick is that you got to find those areas with the bait. Okay? You got to find the areas that's holding the bait. And this time of year when it's hot, the fish are going to stage where the bait's at. Now also too, it's important to be looking on your sonar for the thermoclines, but you're really looking for that deep mass of bait, like a deep scattered layer of bait. You guys have all heard of the deep scattering layer, and you guys can do some research on it, but what happens is that you'll get this deep scattered layer of bait where it's squid and all these microorganisms are at. And now it's not all over the place, okay? It's not all over the place out there, and you have to look around for it and find those areas where there's that deep scattered layer of bait. And things that are going to tip you off are bonito schools, small, tiny schools of bonito. Now, those schools of bonito need to stay around for a while, okay? They just can't be here one day and then gone the next. And what happens is that if they're here one day and they're gone the next, then okay, there's no bait. There's no big wahoo that have had time to come in and find them. But if they stick around for long periods of time, then that's your key, and that's what you need to be looking for. Now, during the day, you might be out there, you might have got a late start, and what you need to be doing is looking for this stuff on your sonar. It looks like a big cloud, and you'll be like, oh my god, there it is. And there's some tricks to your sonar system that you'll have to do, and I'm not going to get into all that shit right now, but that's something for you guys to play around with when you're looking for those deep scattered layers of bait. That's why it's important to fish planers. It's important to fish downriggers. I prefer downriggers for many reasons. I've been fishing them for years. There's lots of tricks to them, but I do fish with downriggers. I feel I can get baits down deeper when I need to, and just a lot of other tricks, but I'm not going to get into that today. So you're looking for deep scattered layered of bait. Deep scattered layers of bait. Okay, the swordfish guys, they're in tune with where the deep scatter layer's at offshore. 1,600 feet's a good area to start looking for the DSL, the deep scatter layer, because that's where your swordfish are going to be. Also, too, guys, one thing is that when you're looking for that area, is that it's said that that deep scatter layer will move up in the morning and it'll move down as the sun comes up. Now, also, too, tides are said to drive that deep scatter layer up. So sometimes when you have a full moon, it's really going to confuse the hell out of that deep scatter layer. It's going to push all that bait up to the surface sometimes early in the morning. So if you have a really big tide in the morning on a full moon, that all those organisms and stuff might be pushed further up to the surface, okay? And then that's why you see feeding frenzies of bait. And then after that, you're going to see the blackfins come in. You're going to see the wahoos come in. So just those things to keep in mind. And also, too, things have to have time to, like, settle. Okay? Meaning that they need to have time to, like, be there for longer periods of time. Like 3 to 4 days, everything kind of, like, the pattern kind of sets in. The bait kind of sets in. The fish get happy. And they just stay there. And they eat. That's how it works. So, like I said, the trick is knowing where to look for this stuff. Being in tune to, like, looking for, like, in the morning, say, for example, you're fishing for 3 to 4 days. You've been running out to the hump, and you guys are seeing bonitos every day just outside the Eagle Rack in, like, I don't know, 175, okay? And you're like, oh, okay, well, they're there one day, there's lots of bait and crashing around, and then you're going out to the hump the next day, and you see them again, you're like, huh. That would be the time to say, hey, maybe the third day that I'm down here is that I should probably pull a bait around that school and see if there's any wahoos there in that zone. Because that's a good zone to look for right there, okay? So you have to be attentive. Also, too, are you seeing fish jump, okay? Are you seeing kingfish skyrocket out of the water in the middle of nowhere? Well, when you're seeing kings jump and other stuff, like there were times last year where I was seeing wahoo jumping all over the place. And I capitalized on that. So I can think of 2 trips off the top of my head last year where I capitalized on looking around me and seeing where there was potential bait fish on. I was seeing wahoos jump alongside of me or way out ahead of me. And people are like, how do you know that was a wahoo? Well, you just know over time because of what species are around and how sailfish jump. And typically it could either be a king or a wahoo, but at certain times of year, kingfish and wahoo swim together. So those are the things that you got to keep in mind, as well as sailfish. I've been on trips where, yeah, I'm catching a lot of sailfish, but you got to, like, fish through all the sailfish to get to the wahoos. That's just how it works. That's how it works. Some days, you know, there's going to be a lot of sailfish around. They're going to get to the baits first, and the wahoos will come next. So what I try to do is get outside the schools of the sailfish and look for the wahoos. Usually the wahoos will be out a little deeper. So, and some days that's all you catch are sails. It is what it is. So that's what's moving through. That's the migration. That's how it works. So in summary, it's about the bait, okay? Does the bait like the water temperature? If the bait likes the water temperature, you're going to have some happy bait. And the longer the bait sticks around, they're going to get really happy and have a big party. And then the bait's going to get bigger, and you're going to get and then there's going to be more bait, more happy bait, and then all of a sudden you're going to have the wahoos come in, and you're going to have the tunas come in, and then the wahoos are going to eat the tunas and the bonitos, and they're going to be happy, and then all of a sudden one day you're going to be like, oh my God, it's amazing. I'm having some amazing fishing in this general zone, and you're going to look down at your screen, you're going to see all that bait there. And then you're going to notice that the bait's going to be higher up in the water column in the morning, more towards the high tide. And then as the sun gets brighter, you're going to see the bait fall down deeper. And then when's that bait going to come back up? It's probably going to come back up in the night when the tide changes again. So fish the tide change. Learn about when those peak bite times are. Catch fish. Simple, right? I wish. But it gives you a little bit more insight about that kind of stuff. So I'm going to wrap it up here today, guys. First, I want to say thank you to all you guys that have been listening to the podcast for over 5 years. The podcast is over 5 years old now, and I'm going to continue it. I'm making some changes for, just that to it, which are going to be cool. And I'm looking at adding like a little live fishing report to YouTube. That's going to be a little trial and see how it goes. That will probably launch this week. So I'm going to be recording that here either today or tomorrow. Just figuring out some kinks with how to show the maps and give you guys a little insight on the fishing report down here in the Upper Keys. Maybe a little bit down in Marathon and touch on some things down there with current. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. And thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I've met a lot of cool people on this podcast through the years, and a lot of people have become really good friends of mine. A lot of awesome recreational folks. Very cool, and I just really appreciate you guys. That's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Good Karma Sportfishing _FL_keys. And if you'd like to book a charter, you can email me at goodkarmaryan@gmail.com. Get involved with a couple of my private fishing clubs, Good Karma Fishing Club 1, Good Karma Fishing Club 2. You can just email me and I'll send you the information. Thanks again, guys. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.